Hello everyone, my name is Michael Grimes, class of POS 1041, and today I'll be discussing gas prices and how it affect Americans. Gas prices influence much more than what we pay at the pump. They affect transportation, food prices, travel, businesses, and overall cost of living. Throughout this presentation, I'll be explaining the issue, identify major stakeholders, discuss both sides of this debate, share my opinion, and provide recommendations for addressing the problem. Gas prices are an important issue because they affect nearly every American. When gas prices increase, it becomes more expensive to travel, transport goods, and operate businesses. The, these higher costs often lead to increased food prices and a higher cost of living. Factors such as crude oil prices, supply and demand, international conflicts, government energy policies all play a role in determining the price consumers pay at the pump. Because transportation is essential in this economy, changes in gas can have a widespread effect on businesses and consumers alike. Let's look at why prices are more than just a pump. They drive the entire economy. When fuel costs go up, transportation costs spike across the nation. This creates a domino effect because trucks move the vast majority of our consumer goods. Higher fuel costs quickly force businesses to raise prices on everyday goods and services. We saw a severe example of this back in 2022 when national average gas prices skyrocketed to over $5 per gallon. Ultimately, these rising prices act as a mass catalyst for inflation, directly shrinking family budgets, altering consumer spreading across the country. Several groups are affected by rising gas prices. First, American consumers pay more to commute to work, travel, and complete daily activities. Businesses and truck companies also face higher operating costs, which often lead to higher prices for products and services. Farmers and food producers depend heavily on fuel for equipment and transportation, causing food prices to rise when gas prices increase. The government, another key stakeholder because it is responsible for developing energy policies that can influence fuel costs. For many Americans, even a dollar increase per gallon can add hundreds. Sorry, I have gas while recording this. What was that? For many Americans, even $1 increase per gallon can add hundreds of dollars to their yearly increase. Lower gas prices can benefit consumers, businesses, and the overall economy by reducing costs and encouraging spending. Okay. Opinions differ on how the government should respond to rising gas prices. Supporters of the government act believe that when fuel prices rise too quickly, families and businesses suffer. They argue that measures such as releasing oil from the SPR, or also known as the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, or encouraging domestic production can help stabilize prices and reduce inflation. On the other hand, opponents believe that free markets should determine the gas prices. They argue that the government intervention can create inefficiencies and discourage investments in the energy project. According to this view, supply and demand should allow to balance prices naturally over time. Both sides agree that gas prices have major impact on the economy, but they disagree on the government's role and addressing the issue. And the question everybody's asking, where do we go from here? In my opinion, government should take reasonable action to stabilize the gas prices during these times of economic uncertainty. While I believe the free market is important, sudden spikes in fuel can create financial hardships for families and businesses. I think policymakers should support domestic energy products while also investing in long-term solutions that reduce the dependence on volatile energy markets. I chose this topic because gas prices affect almost every aspect of daily life, whether it's driving to work, buying groceries, or traveling. Fuel costs influence how much people spend. As a college student, I understand how rising gas prices can affect budgets and make everyday expenses more difficult to manage. These issues are important because it affects both individual households and the overall economy. In conclusion, gas prices are an important public policy issue because they affect nearly every part of the American economy. Higher fuel costs increase the price of transportation, food, and many everyday goods. Throughout this presentation, I've discussed the stakeholders involved, different viewpoints on the government's intervention, and my own opinion on the issue. To address this problem, I recommend increased domestic energy production, investing in energy infrastructure, encouraging fuel efficiency, and maintaining energy oil reserves. These actions can help reduce price volatile price volatility and increase economic stability. While there is no perfect solution, balanced policies can help protect consumers while supporting long-term energy security and economic growth. First and foremost, we will see a lower transportation cost. This doesn't just mean it's cheaper for everyday people to fill up their gas tanks. It also drastically cuts expenses for shipping, freight, and public transit, creating a positive ripple effect throughout everyday supply chains. These are the links I've used to gather information on gas prices and inflation and energy policies. They all should be up to date, and thank you for listening.